this night. This is one of the best purchases I ever made. They make a double too. What?
It feels solid.
Yeah, and lock it in. Couldn't figure out why this camera wasn't firing. Sachi was playing with it the other day and had that self timer. Like, let's go old school.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, sounds like we got some good sound here. Is everybody happy today? Yeah. What time do we have, Christy?
12:56.
12:56. This broadcast is going to be live on YouTube around the world. We will start probably in another 3.5 minutes, which will be 1 o'clock this time. It should be midnight in Taiwan, which is where one person will be watching from. And it should be about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning in Hawaii, because we know a person will be watching from there also. So I'm going to get myself in position, and this will be available on YouTube later on. It's on YouTube under the title of Quilts of Valor, Rock Hill, SC. So join with me. We're going to go live right now from Aldersgate United Methodist Church in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We'll be honoring 25 veterans with a Quilt of Valor, the highest award that a civilian can present to a veteran in honor and thanks of their service and a welcome home. If you have a cell phone, please put it on silent. If you want to take pictures with that cell phone, that's very permissible. Feel free to visit for another 2 minutes. Because the people around the world know that this is going to start at 1 o'clock. I don't want to be ahead of schedule. I don't want to cheat them on anything. I don't want to cheat our relatives of our veterans the great opportunity. Because if somebody gets tuned in after I start, they might miss their relative. If I start ahead of schedule, they might miss their relatives. I don't want that. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to the news media for being here. CN2, Rockville Herald said that they were coming. Are you in the audience? Okay, they might be here later then. You never can tell what assignments come out as you work for the news media. Ladies, there's seats up in the front over here if you want. My timekeeper is watching for Greenwich Mean Time, which means that's when your cell phones are all synced to, all by satellite. So when she says it is 1 o'clock here, it is at the top of the hour around the world, except for in Nova Scotia. And now it is 1 o'clock. My name is Harvey Mayhill. I'm a veteran from the United States Air Force, 1961 to 1965, and I welcome everybody here today. Twice I could have gone to Vietnam during my period of service, but I did not have to. So my wife and I do a lot to pay back our veterans, and this is one of my ways of paying back. Introductions. Under the direction of Sergeant Steve Sprague, I'd like to introduce the Fort Mill High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC. These cadets will be escorting our veterans and other dignitaries in later on. Sergeant Sprague, will you please come up front with your cadets? These young cadets are learning the respects and honor of military and of life, and Sergeant Sprague is a retired Marine. Let's say thank you to these folks. Dismissed. That's something that they understand. Once they get in position, two of them will be escorting in Reverend Steve Holler. Steve is the pastor of this church. And Steve, I know you have a board of directors and all kinds of bosses, but under your direction, you are the one that everybody goes to for whatever they need. And we thank you for allowing us to use this facility. Cadets, are you in position? I need two cadets to escort this gentleman in. Reverend Steve Holler. Pastor Steve served in the United States Air Force. Come right on up, Steve. He served in the United States Air Force for 12 years as a chaplain. Now you may do it about this. Now you may be seated. The next to be escorted in are the patriotic ladies of Rock Hill, of which there are three. Only two could make it today. The third one had a previous engagement. So welcome with me, Christine Nelson, who comes to us from California. She's dressed in the 1950s style USO uniform. And her hair is also done in that same style. And the patch that she's wearing on her uniform, I'm so proud that she's wearing my patch from the Air Force many years ago. The next person coming in is Annette Marlowe. Annette comes to us from Nashville, Tennessee, back to her hometown of Rock Hill. She has performed with the Mandrell Sisters and many other country western singers. She's come back to Rock Hill to raise a family. But we're fortunate enough to have her with us today with her beautiful voice. Join me in welcoming these patriotic ladies. Under the direction and leadership of Lynn Mayhill, my wife, is the Old Glory Quilts, a group that has gone up to 50 members at one time, but we've had some folks move away. And these are the ladies that dedicate their time, their money, their talents in making Quilts of Valor. And from this group, there's been 2 or 3 other groups branch off, honoring veterans all over the northern part of South Carolina. I'm going to go off script just a little bit. I want to start on the far left with Willa down there. Just your name and just go right on across self-introduction.
Willow Teal, Indian Land, South Carolina. Janice Miller, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Margaret Frelick, South Carolina, Rock Hill. Deb Sheets, Rock Hill. Lynn Mayhill, Rock Hill. Alice Harper, Fort Mill. Nancy Gillette, Rock Hill. Pat Nadeau, Rock Hill. Sharon Ford, Rock Hill.
Let's welcome these fine towns. Another voice that you'll be hearing later will be in the background. And this year I want you to see who that voice actually is. It's my brother-in-law, Lawrence Butch Sheets. Butch, let those young people escort you in. Butch will be announcing each veteran as they come in. He's a past president of a Toastmasters group, so he's an accomplished speaker. He also has his own business now, traveling all over the world. And Butch, we're thankful that you're here to help us out today. Welcome with me, Butch Sheets. Butch, are you ready on the microphone out there? No, both switches have to be up.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, Butch, you are ready? Audience, are you ready to welcome our veterans? As the veterans are introduced, the next veteran will not be introduced until the first veteran is seated. Each veteran has their own personal individual time. On your program, our very first one is not able to be here with us today, so we're going to go down to the second one. Butch?
United States Army, James Green Jr.
Mr. Green is a World War II veteran. It may take just a little bit of time to get him in. Mr. Green, for the World War II veterans today, I give you my salute. This young lady here is going to accompany you in having your seat. I'm waiting for the next announcement. You have to look at me, guy.
United States Army, Melinda Woodhurst.
Melinda Woodhurst is a retired colonel from the United States Army. She continues to serve in York County as a Veterans Service Officer. I wish colonels looked like her when I was in.
United States Army, Parker Carter.
I don't know how Parker does it, but he's the manager of the sound system here. And he's up here, the sound system is in the back, but still he's doing a wonderful job.
United States Army, Martin Thomas.
Mr. Thomas comes to us from further down in the state. He is a friend of Parker's. Parker had mentioned he had nominated him for a Quilt of Valor, and we suggested that they receive a Quilt of Valor together here today.
United States Army, John Beard.
John, your wife of forever years is sitting up here, ready to assist you once you get to the front. We're very, very glad to have you. Don't know for sure if you can see all of these people or not. He has some vision impairment, but yet he still has all of his brain faculties about him. He still has a good sense of humor. He's a very honorable gentleman, and I'm proud to know John Beard.
United States Army, Clayton Corbett.
Mr. Corbett's son is active duty United States Marines today. He would like to have been here, however, Marines guard duty does take precedence over us. We tried to get a waiver, but
Actually, he is here.
he is. Where is he? Is he in there?
Right there.
Okay, stay right there. Garrett, stand up. Active duty, United States Marines. Thank you very much. Thank you, Missy.
United States Army, Keith Russell.
Keith is a very giving gentleman. Not only did he serve our country well, he serves our mankind well today by some of his other activities throughout church and community.
United States Army, Ronnie Beadle.
Mr. Beadle is coming in with a very patriotic shirt. I bet you got that at Cracker Barrel or Amazon or someplace. And Ronnie, it's a pleasure to have you. See, there's a guy that knows exactly where he has to go.
United States Army, Willie Campbell.
I talked to Willie on the phone here a few weeks ago. He comes from Charlotte area. And Willie, thanks for coming. A Vietnam veteran. And in this setting, sir, you are permitted to wear your cover. Civilians call it a hat, military calls it a cover, especially the Marine Corps.
United States Army, Henry Hollis.
Henry is the guardian of his church for their early morning service. He's also the greeter. He does a little bit of everything. And Henry, I think you've been traveling here recently also for a while. Glad to see you made it back safely.
United States Marines, William Morales.
William, I believe that you're a Vietnam veteran also, is that correct?
Thank you. Marine Corps.
Marine Corps, yeah.
I was in Iraq.
Oh, you're in Iraq. I had some work done in Vietnam. I didn't think you looked that old. Hoorah.
United States Marines, Blaine Ray.
Blaine, I believe that you worked with some very large animals, horses. And those horses are available for people with PTSD and other military ailments. And it's a good therapy. Thank you very much for your service, sir.
United States Navy, Robert McDowell.
I was having a brochure about Mr. McDowell earlier. There's a lot of impressive things here. The only thing that I'm going to do right now is give you a copy of salute, sir, and say thank you for your service. You will do better. You know, they talk about the World War II veterans being the greatest generation, but I'll tell you what, those young cadets that are coming in, one of these days, they're going to be mentioned as the greatest generation also.
United States Navy, Harry Gibson.
Mr. Gibson is a lover of his church, very compassionate. He helps whenever, wherever needed. He even rides his bicycle many, many miles to go visit one of his church members.
United States Navy, Gary West.
Mr. West served in the Navy with Harry Gibson. And Harry loved you so much that he said, I would like to receive my quilt alongside of him. So welcome today, sir. Even though you were Navy, you were being escorted by Marines.
United States Navy, John Parent.
John, it's good to see you. John is also a very active member in this church.
United States Navy, Jerome K. Gunderson Sr.
Mr. Gunderson talked to me earlier. He had some friends that he would like to nominate for a Quilt of Valor. And if you'd like to do such, go to qopf.org on your computer and put in request a quote. There's a button. Just follow the information. Mr. Gunderson is 100% disabled from Agent Orange from Vietnam.
United States Navy and U.S. Coast Guard, Brady Hope.
Brady, I guess you served in Vietnam, is that correct?
I did not.
You did not. You're in during Vietnam.
I served Vietnam was going on.
Okay. So you're a Vietnam era veteran like myself then. Thank you for your service, sir. Glad to see you here today.
United States Navy, Robert Smith.
Now, Mr. Smith worked in sonar. For those that don't know what sonar is, it's like radar, except it's underwater. And that's what the dolphins and porpoises use to communicate and navigate. Thank you, sir.
United States Navy, Terry Kennedy.
Kennedy, of course, is a very famous name from back in the 60s, when we had a president by the name of Kennedy. Sir, have you ever considered running for president?
I can't. I wasn't born in the States.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for serving our United States, though. Where were you born, sir?
Ireland.
Ireland. Okay. We like Ireland. Thank you, sir.
United States Navy, Ralph Roberts.
This is our last World War II veteran for the day. Mr. Roberts, it's good seeing you. You just keep coming toward me. You're in good hands. You just keep right on coming. This young lady in the red on your left will take care of you. Mr. Roberts, thank you for your service, sir.
United States Air Force, Robert Garrison.
Mr. Garrison paved the way for me in the Air Force. He was a couple of years ahead. Bob, thank you for paving the way in that good branch of the service. Bob is always there to give a helping hand to whoever needs it. You look just as young as those two on your flags.
United States Air Force, Wayne Maury.
Wayne is still active. He also is a police officer in Rock Hill, and he continues to serve our community. Wayne, thank you for both services. Mr. Sheets, I believe that is it, right?
It is.
I will need that microphone up front, please. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome all these distinguished heroes and veterans today. Distinguished veterans, I know that you don't have eyes in the back of your head, but everybody in the room is good for you, as they well should. Because without you, we wouldn't be able to do things like we're doing today. We wouldn't enjoy the freedoms that we have. I'd like to open with a brief but sincere prayer. So if we please uncover. God, we thank you for those that are with us today that have felt freedom in our country and freedom around the world. We thank you for allowing them to come home to their families. We know some came home wounded physically, some have come home wounded mentally. And whatever your beliefs are, in my religion, we believe in God. Other religions, they believe in something else, but whatever they believe in, we trust that you have had your hand on them, helping them and guiding them through safety. And we ask that the safety be continued on today, tomorrow, and the rest of the days of their natural lives. Amen. I want to give just a little bit of information as to what's going to happen tonight. We're going to have several flags presented, and these flags will be presented by Veterans 6, which is a new motorcycle group in Rock Hill that stand behind their veterans. They've got their 6, in other words, they've got their back. They will do whatever they can, whatever they need to support our veterans. So our first flag coming in will be the Quilts of Valor flag. The Quilts of Valor flag is a one of a kind for this event. If you see somebody you know, you can hop on the way and say hi. This is a fun upbeat, it's not solemn. The next flag is a Blue Star flag in honor of the Blue Star mothers and the Blue Star families who has a child currently serving active duty. Our next flag is a Gold Star flag. For the Gold Star mothers, the Gold Star families. Slow down on that flag a little bit. Not the big hurricane. A Gold Star mother or Gold Star family is one who has lost a child in battle. Our next flag is we support our troops with all 5 branches of the service. And before we go any further with the flags, I'm going to go off script just a little bit here. When I talk about the 5 branches of the service, the Army, the Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard, there is a 6th branch of the military that is never or seldom recognized. They have no emblem. They have no organization. And those are the spouses of our veterans who stay at home, mow the grass, fix the lawnmower, fix the refrigerator, do the repairs while the veterans deploy to wherever they have to go. They have no support groups. They are bigger than any of those other branches of the military. So if you are a spouse of a veteran, please stand for proper recognition. Now we continue on with the Vietnam commemorative flag. We are keeping the photographer busy today. The photographer is Bruce. He was in photography for a while, stepped out, he's back in again. Be sure you talk to him later if you like pictures and see what he can do for you. Our next flag is Desert Storm. And now for our state flag, South Carolina.
Reason, help!
Alice, please join me in the front. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have 2 American flags presented today. The one that's coming in now is a 48 star in honor of our World War II and Korean War veterans. If you are able, please stand with me for the presentation of these colors. And once these colors have reached the front, Alice Crocker, a widow of a Navy veteran, will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Civilians will be hand over heart. Veterans, hand salute. Even if you're in civilian clothes. This flag is being brought in by the Daughters of the American Revolution. They can trace their lineage all the way back to the founding of this country. Their fathers and forefathers before that are the ones that set the way for what we do today as veterans.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. You can drop your salutes for current time. Our next flag that will be brought in are the 50 stars that we serve under today. With the big eagle on the top, also with Daughters of the American Revolution. Present arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and the bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And the home of the
Okay, let's hold on the flags for just a minute. Marine Cadets, Sergeant Sprague. Your Marine Cadets are invited to have seats up here. You wonderful ladies get to sit with these nice looking young people. Our next flag coming in will take a little bit of time because it is a solemn time. And part of the dedication of today's Quilts of Valor ceremony is the POW MIA flag. So if you'll look to your right and your left, watch the gentleman bringing it in. Single step, back to attention. Single step, back to attention. That is the POW MIA march. We still have 83,000 veterans missing from all wars. Just a little over 1,600 of them still missing from Vietnam. The man carrying the flag is a veteran himself. We have some music today that is going to recognize the branches of service, and they will be in this order. Not in the order that they should be, but these are in the order of the music that was available for us to use. The first song will be for the Coast Guard. The next one will be Army. After that will be Navy, Air Force, and then Marines. Now the Coast Guard is going to be sung by the Coast Guard Choir. They'll be singing Semper Tyrannis. The next 4 branches of military will be sung by Gene Simmons from KISS. They're very strange people, very strange music, very strange faces. But I did a little research on Gene Simmons last night. I was informed that he may be a PK, a pastor's kid, a preacher's kid, but he is not. He was born of Jewish, Hungarian Jewish family. He also served as a teacher of 6th grade for a period of time. He does not use alcohol. He does not smoke. Doesn't use drugs. But looking down through some of his quotes, yes, he does use some language that, well, I won't go into that. But he is a very patriotic gentleman. And in his biography, he was talking about his grandmother volunteering to go with his great-grandmother to the gas chamber during the Holocaust so she would not be alone. What a fact. When you hear your branch of service song, stand proud.
Never have we struck it yet, in spite of moments flying. We cheer our crews and cheer again for showing not to fight. So here's no start marching song. We sing of land or sea. Through surface, storm, and all, and gale I shall our purpose be. Semper Tyrannis is our God, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard, we are for you. So here's Coast Guard marching song. We sing on land or sea. Through surf and storm and how we gale our shall our purpose be. Semper Tyrannis is our God, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard, we are for you.
Coast Guard has a long song, don't they?
Yeah.
We need to get it queued up on the computer here, so we are ready.
Let's go! Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, here we go. Now that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're gonna start with Army. If you know the words, sing it. Goes like this. Oh, but then we hit as we trip, and the case of us go rolling along. In and out, hear the shout, pound of bombs, running about, and the case of us go rolling along. And it's high, high, heat, feel the misery, you know it, yeah. Let's go. That's what we're doing. The Army goes rolling along. The U.S. Army goes rolling along. Keep it going. I can't hear you. Navy, you're gonna be next. Can you sing it? Sing it all the words. 1, 2, 3. Goes away, my boy, and smart? Are you gonna get some? Do you know the words? I need you to sing it. 2, 3. To the shores of Tripoli, we will find our country's help in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our hearts clean. We are proud to play the time of United States of America. Of United States of America.
Thank you, Daughters of the American Revolution. Thank you, Vet 6. We appreciate everything you do. Our guest speakers have been called away on a family emergency today, so I have just a couple of brief words that I will be sharing with you in lieu of having guest speakers. And that's going to shorten us down by about 12 to 14 minutes. First off, I see a couple of elected officials in the audience, and if you please stand. Nick Valor, representative from Fort Bell. Bruce Bryant, representative from Rock Hill, New York area. One other, I see Dover from Clover. Dave Dover, please stand. Dover's a police officer, and I'm glad to see that you are safe from the event a couple of days ago. Any other police officers in here besides the Lane? Well, thank you for your service, gentlemen. I want to share with you about a lady by the name of Jessica, something that happened to her. We all know that when you get on an airplane, certain people have priorities. They got first class passengers go on, and then they got the active military, and sometimes veterans go on. And then people that belong to the airplane flying club, they get to go on. Or families with small children. Well, there was a female veteran or female active military in uniform getting ready to board the airplane. And as she walked on the airplane, a man in first class stood up. He says, "Excuse me, ma'am, I think I've got your seat." She says, "No, what do you mean? No, my seat's 31B. So with that, he walked down to 31B, sat in the center row in coach, and gave up his first class seat to her. But then Jessica had seen this, and she thought, how neat. So she sent a note back by the way of the flight attendant with some money attached to it. Says, "Dear 31B, please accept this money for a drink or a little snack on me for what you did for this lady veteran or this lady soldier." He said, "Please send it back. I honor her thoughts, but I do this out of honor and integrity for our country, and I thank her very, very much." So, what you had seen, or what you had heard now about that, was love in action for three people. First, the service lady for service to our country. The second act of love was the man giving up his seat from first class and going and sitting in a coach with everybody else. The third item of love was the lady recognizing what had happened. So if you have been touched by a random act of kindness at any time in your life, or any time that you become touched by a random act of kindness, remember that little story and pass it on. And it keeps the world going with positive rather than all the negative that we happen to hear on various medias. So that's our keynote speech for the day. Here's Janice Miller, a Quilt Valor volunteer, to tell the Quilts of Valor story, how it evolved.
Quilts of Valor began in 2003, literally a dream that came to founder Catherine Roberts while her son Nat was deployed in Iraq. She tells of seeing a young man sitting hunched over the side of his bed in the middle of the night. She felt him being tortured by his own war demons, dragging him into despair. She then saw him wrapped in a quilt with his face filled with hope. She believed that this quilt brought healing to this young man. With this dream in mind, Robert set out to organize Quilts of Valor. Each quilt would be made by volunteer teams, donating their time and money to make each quilt, from the initial cutting and piecing together of fabric to the final sewing on of the binding and label. Each quilt was to be of quality material with quality hand or machine stitching. And each quilt was to be awarded to each recipient as a sincere thank you for your service, sacrifice, and valor. Each Quilt of Valor is the highest award a civilian can give to a service member. The first quilt was awarded in November 2003 to a young soldier from Minnesota, recovering from a leg amputation following service in Iraq, while at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. Chaplain John Callerson provided the means for Roberts to award this quilt to the wounded at Walter Reed, mainly because his wife Connie was a quilter. Connie saw the value of quilts as comfort to those in need, and John saw the message the quilts provided, that someone hears. Robert's home in Seaford, Delaware was the birthplace for the Quilts of Valor Foundation, and the movement spread across the nation through word of mouth and the internet. She had a team that consisted of a member who would piece the quilt top from various fabrics, and another member who would do the quilting on a long arm machine. Coordinators contributed valuable time by finding others who would volunteer their services as quilters. Other coordinators helped by getting quilts moved from one location to the next, and yet others identified recipients and helped facilitate award ceremonies. The mission statement of the foundation is simple yet straightforward. The Quilts of Valor Foundation is to cover service members and veterans touched by war with comforting and healing quilts of valors. As you look at your quilt, think of every stitch as our thank you for your service.
Next up is my wife, Lynn. She was with me when I was in the Air Force. Lynn, we've already introduced all the quilters that way, but I think you had something else to say.
Approximately 5 years ago, a life-changing event occurred to Harvey and me. We saw a beautiful patriotic quilt hanging on display at a quilting vendor fair. And I kept looking at it, and I told Harvey, I want to make one just like that. The only problem was, I had never made a quilt. I knew not the first thing about it. But that small problem didn't stop either one of us, as we took a right turn and started learning about the process of Quilts of Valor. Shortly thereafter, Old Glory Quilters was born. This group of talented individuals is dedicated to honoring our veterans with the Quilt of Valor, one veteran at a time. Harvey and I could not do what we do without the support of the quilters who help us make the unique, colorful quilts that you'll see today. Old Glory Quilters, just step forward so they can see you again. Today, and hope they bring each veteran the warmth and comfort that you deserve. Thank you so much for your service, and welcome home.
And I'd like to add just a little bit to that. And I'm not going to identify names, I'm just going to tell you some facts. One of the quilters there is an Army brat, or military brat, which means that her parents or her father, one of the parents was in the military. They traveled all over the country. And when you call them a military brat, that is an honorable name. Another quilter's husband received the quilt of Valor. He received it as he was going through some therapy and recovering from illness. Another quilter, her husband, is a Marine, and she served all along 20 plus years on his side. Another lady happens to be the widow of a veteran, and she has probably made upwards of 50 quilts of Valor, plus other quilts for other activities. It's her way of remembering her husband who passed away some years back. We have another lady who just loves her daughter and granddaughter, and just loves life to the full. She has traveled with us to Paducah, Kentucky for the National Quilt Museum, National Quilt Show. And she does a fantastic job and has started a group for her own church, and we're very, very fortunate to have her as part of our group. Another lady has done a quilting group started up in Sun City. So they have awarded all the World War II veterans, all the Korean War veterans, and now they went to the Vietnam veterans. And I believe there's about 400 residents. Well, they're doing 12, 15, 20 at a time. So there's a lot of work there. And then the last one I am going to identify. Alice, would you please stand up and come to the front? I have one more, although that I didn't see my sister-in-law dead. Yeah, you're hiding behind the plant. Now, Deb was with us when we went to Columbia and saw that fantastic quilt. So she's the one that had encouraged my wife, her sister, to get something started. And so she has, and I see another maker, Janice. Thank you for everything that you did. Janice made a quilt, hand-stitched, no machines. It took her 1 year to make this quilt, and she said, I would love to make 100 more, and I don't have long enough to live for yet. Okay, sit down. The reason I brought Alice out here is because, she's 83. A year and a half ago when she was 82, she had an ailment come about where she couldn't do the physical activity that she's always done. So she kind of stepped aside and wondered, what am I going to do to keep myself active, to serve the community, to serve the dog that I serve over. And so she decided to get started in the quilting. At 82 years old, she has now made 5 quilts a day. So I have 7! Oh my goodness! There you go, Alice Crocker. My goodness. You're going to live to be 105. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard of Lee Greenwood. Lee Greenwood sings God Bless the USA. And he talks about standing up next to the veteran and standing for our country today. And today we are very fortunate to have Annette Marlowe to sing Lee Greenwood's song, God Bless the USA.
It is an honor. It is an honor to be here today. It is a very high honor for us to be here today. I'm part of the Patriotic Ladies here at Rock Hill, and we just really appreciate our veterans and all of your service. And we love you.
I need you in that. Herbert Dixon, would you please stand up? Mr. Dixon is Annette's granddad who served in World War II. Annette, bring him up here. Bring him on up here. Bring him up here. Yeah, come on up here.
on up. Come on up here.
You're gonna stand here and look pretty with your granddaughter. There you go.
I'm so proud of Granddad. He was in Normandy years and years ago, and I'm so proud to be part of the Dixon family.
This young lady, she hosted the last 5 reunions that we had. And we made her an honorary member of our company. and I'm the only one left out of 210. This young lady, like I said, has been a great, I don't know what you would say, thing for our whole outfit. And everybody just loves her to death, and we appreciate it. And while I'm here, look now, this gentleman right here, and all of you, and it's just unbelievable. And I just thank the world and all.
Thank you. Thank you. Now let's let this beautiful lady sing. You just stand here with her.
You can stand here.
If tomorrow all the things are gone, work for all your life, you had to start again with just your children and your wife. You thank your lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. Be an American, well, at least I know I'm free. I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and declare till today. There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, and from sea to shining sea, Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, being an American, at least I know I'm free. Yes, to men who died, gave that right to me, and I'm glad they stand up next to you, and they've been hurt till today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Yes, the men who died gave that right to me, and I'm glad we stand up next to you until today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless all you.
Wow. I'm glad that Pastor Steve, thanks for having a box of tissues up here. I always put that back in the box too. Well, we're getting right down to real close to awarding the quotes to these heroes. The dedication I have, I'm going to shorten it up considerably. But it still has what a little say. There was a man that was in the army that wrote a story about the soldier. And when I say soldier, that's a generic term. Soldier normally means army. But when I say soldier, I'm talking about army, the marine, the sailor, the airman, and the coast guard. And you've probably heard this a couple of times before. I'm going to expand on the profound statements that this man made. It is the soldier, not the minister, who has given us freedom of religion. However, it is the minister or religious leader who guides the soldier in the faith in which he or she believes to bring solace to the mind during the war and trying times. Is this, you want me to use, Carter? You want me to use a, okay. I get my head down and it gets loud. Okay, let's do a test. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, this is a neat thing about going live because you have all these nice little ones. Are you good, Parker? Okay, let's start again. It is the soldier, not the minister, who has given us freedom of religion. But it is the minister or religious leader who guides the soldier in the faith which he or she believes to bring solace to the mind during war and trying times. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us the freedom of the press. And it is the reporter who provides the soldier with daily occurrences to keep them apprised of the world about them while being deployed or fighting for freedom. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us the freedom of speech. However, it is the poet who enhances the beauty of the spoken language, so the soldier may not lament about discouraging happenings abundant in the world. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us freedom to protest. But it is the protester who protests with respect for others and respect for property that maintains integrity in society, which the soldier has fought for, but otherwise an issue may have become complacent. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the lawyer who separates fact from fiction in maintaining a system of honor, which the soldier has valued. It is the soldier, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. But it is the politician who allows soldiers and us to have choices and vote for our desired ways of life. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and his coffin is draped by the flag, which allows the protester to even burn the flag. Today, we dedicate this Quilts of Valor award ceremony to the soldiers who never came home. Some of the veterans are receiving an honor of a family member or a friend who never made it home. You all have your own reason for being here. And that reason is between you and God. If you want to share it, you will have that opportunity. It is dedicated to the soldier who came home in a flag-draped coffin, to the soldiers who carry the burden of seeing their brothers and sisters missing in action or killed in action, suffering from wounds or dying from the effects of war, such as Agent Orange. We also are reminded that the burdens of war are carried by members of the soldier's family, not just the soldier, but the family too. And especially those 22 today, families that will lose a veteran to PTSD suicide. It happened yesterday, it will happen today, it will happen again tomorrow. 22 veterans will commit suicide on an average the rest of this year. The families suffer. We dedicate this ceremony to those no longer with us so we can live this day with the freedoms that we so lovingly enjoy. Today we honor these heroes sitting in front of us. They were fortunate enough to return home. It's an honor to have you here. We honor you with the highest award a civilian can present to a veteran, and that is the Quilt of Valor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your dedication, your sacrifices, and your service to our wonderful country. And welcome home. Pastor Steve, would you like to have the microphone? Okay. Pastor Steve is going to bless the quilts. Whatever religion you may or may not be, this blessing is to show honor for what you have done, to show that we care about your past, we care about today, and more than that, we care about your future today, tomorrow, and through eternity.
Will you join me in prayer? Eternal and eternally loving God, who calls us to the work of justice and peace, and who grants us our greatest freedom and salvation, we do come seeking your blessing. Bless these soldiers and sailors and airmen, those in the Coast Guard and Marines. Bless them with our appreciation and gratitude. Look favorably upon them as we honor their service and their sacrifice for the values we hold dear. All gave some, and some gave all. Some are still giving on the battlefields of their minds and bodies. Grant them your comfort and your unfailing strength. Bless the families and friends of those who serve our nation, who cook meals and pay bills and raise children and check homework, those who keep home and hearth and family together during difficult and fearful days. For Army, for Marine, for Navy, for Air Force, for Coast Guard, who worked their shift, who stood their post, who accomplished the mission, and who honor us with their presence today. Keep them true in our hearts so that thank you for your service will always be more than words and eagerly spoken. Because of their dedication, we are free to conduct a Quilts of Valor Awards program. Free to worship, free to express our ideas and opinions, free to kneel at football games, free to burn flags, and free to choose not to do these things. Because of their dedication, the torch still burns, the beacon still shines, and the sound of freedom still rings throughout our land. Bless now, we pray, the giving of these quilts of valor to these men and women, these living witnesses to a calling greater than themselves, greater than any of us. Bowing humbly as we all recognize again that freedom is never free. Surround them with
these quilts. Surround them with our respect and gratitude. Surround them with a great sense of purpose and accomplishment of a job well done. Surround them most of all with your mercy and grace. Made with human hands, filled with love and admiration of human hearts. May these quilts and they who receive them be blessed by your divine hand. For it is in your holy name that we ask and pray, great author of life, great author of liberty. Amen.
Just a couple of things that I would like to mention. The star bags that are on the back of the church pews. Each one of you has one to take your food home in. These never were a flag. There's a company that makes the star quilts for our U.S. flags. That when they have a glitch in the sewing machine or the material is cut too small, rather than throwing it in the trash, which they have been doing for years, we now recover them and we sew them into quilts or into bags for you to take home and put your quilt on. Also, is there a family member for James Green here? Mr. Green, will you come up and sit with them? That way we have a family member to assist him and whatever, and when we get ready to leave, we will walk with him, we appreciate it. We're going to have pictures taken in the front. Once the veterans are excused, and the family members are up here with your veteran already. Going up into the fellowship wall, there's a photo op out there with a chair in front of it. If you'd like to have a picture with your veteran and go around your other, please do so. Oh, you, ma'am, you don't have to take the cheering section away, we love it. Okay. We'll save your place. So, it looks like we're about ready to award quilts. And before we award them, each person will receive a certificate. That certificate has your name on it. And here is Willa Teal, wife of an Army veteran, and the leader of a quilting group in Sun City, that will read the certificate in its entirety that you will be receiving.
On behalf of the Quilts of Valor Foundation, in recognition of your service and sacrifice for our nation, it's a privilege to serve, honor, and comfort upon you through the glory of the Quilts of Valor. Though we may never know the depth of your sacrifice to protect and defend the United States of America, as a gesture of gratitude for the grateful nation, we award you this Quilt of Valor.
The patriotic ladies will be handed a quilt, they will show it, and then two of the old glory quilters will wrap the veteran in the quilt. And the wrapping of the veteran is the awarding ceremony in itself. So, James Green, Jr., World War II, please present yourself. It might be difficult, we can do it right there. Mr. Green, your quilt was made by Margaret Felix. She's standing right there. And we are very fortunate in this area to be able to have the quilters wrap the veteran. Where did my hand mic go? Did somebody take the microphone? Oh, okay.
Sir, is there anything you would like to say?
Can't talk right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Melinda Woodward. Colonel, United States Army, retired. Your quilt was made by Lynn Mayhill, and the name of your quilt is Symbols of Freedom. Mr. Green, the name of your quilt is Land of the Free. Look at the back side of it. Look at the back. There you go. That's a very good quilt.
Folks that know me, I normally can't shut up, and I find myself speechless. I stand in awe of all of you, for those who came before me, for those who will come after me. Thank you for an opportunity for me to serve a grateful nation.
Sergeant Carter, United States Army. Your quilter is Janice Miller, and your quilt's name is Steps to Freedom. Turn around, Parker.
It's a dance.
Thanks to everyone. Appreciate it.
Martin Thomas. Your quilt was made by Margaret Fralix, and the title of it is Land That I Love.
I got a lot to say. First, I'd like to thank the Quilts of Valor for this great honor.
Put the microphone up.
It's not working.
It's off, okay.
Parker got it. Okay, thank you. I'll try not to embarrass Parker or his family or my family. But I do want to say I'm from a small town in the PD, Mullins, South Carolina, God's country. I've been lucky my entire career. I finished school. I was honored to go to a 2-year school. Got a scholarship to go finish my 4-year degree, 4 years. And I was lucky again. I got a letter from the President of the United States. They were having a party in Vietnam. I wanted to know if I would like to go. So I came back to Marion County, pleaded to the they call it back there, the draft board. And I said, listen, I got 1 more year to finish. Please let me finish school. They all looked and smiled. Yeah, he's the 15th one today that's finishing school. I said, no, I got a letter. I am in school. They said, we'll make a decision shortly, as soon as the board director comes. Board of director came in, very close friends with my mother. So he let me go back to school. I finished. At that time, I got another letter saying it's time to go. I said, well, let me do a quick internship at school. And I'll go. So they did. Then they came to the university and they're saying, we're starting a medical unit for the Army. You'll come in and write in now. We won't draft you. We'll put you in as an E5. I said, that's great. I forgot to tell me it was the 82nd Airborne. So I went and did that. I won't carry it through my entire career, but I went through 4 war campaigns in my career. Very lucky the entire time. I did 11 years enlisted. My children grew up said unlisted, which it was not unlisted, it was enlisted. I got commissioned and I stayed until I got the last letter from our president saying it's time to go home.
So Martin, welcome home.
I made it home 31 days later. I got a letter that says, you are invited to come back if you so desire. I said, no, but I'm proud of my service. I'm so sorry that the Navy and the Air Force didn't get the opportunity to be in the Army. We can't all be in the Army. But thank you very much. There's nothing more pleasant than to get shot at or chased at and see a plane come over your head from the United States Air Force. So thank you for that. I would like to also thank my wife. She passed away in '06. Every step I took in the Army, she was with me. A lot of the times behind me pushing, but I would like to thank her and my family. My oldest son was 5 months old before I got to see him. So those are sacrifices I'm glad to make.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
We appreciate your comments. We do have 20 minutes.
I know, I'm through. I just wanted to show you something. You can stand up and listen. Stand up and say. I made a comment earlier today about colonels. Now tell me who's the prettiest. Thank you very much.
Our next honored recipient is John Beard. John, your quilt was made by Pat Native. We will be wrapping you with it. And the name of your quilt is Honor Star. Now, I want to remind a lot of you that many quilts are being received today in honor of somebody, a friend or a family member who never came home, or in honor of those who had to be buried overseas that could not come home to American soil. So whatever is going through a veteran's mind, hopefully these quilts will relieve some of these things today. John, did you have anything you want to say?
I accept this in memory of my brother who served 3 Vietnam tours. Rest in peace, my brother.
Clayton Porter, would you please present yourself? And Gary, would you please come up here? Clayton, turn the face this way. Sharon Ford made your quilt, sir. Her husband was a lifer Marine. Your son, Marine, Sarah named your quilt like freedom ring.
I'd like to say it's an honor, especially my son here with me, my daughter, wife out there, all my brothers and sisters at Bedford 6 on side carrying flags, and all my other fellow veterans, all of you, of their families. Just thank all of you very much.
Now, hold on a minute. I'm not gonna let you go yet. The reason I brought your son up is because he's a Marine. The daughter's there too, isn't she?
Yes.
Let's bring her up for just a moment. We'll give you that a big hug. Thank you, Clayton, for your service. Tina Corbett, where are you? There she is, the Blue Star Mother, the mother of that red-headed Marine. Keith, your quilt was made by Margaret Fralix. She has titled it, Proud to be an American, and I know you are proud to be an American.
Thank you, that's all. Thank you.
Ronnie Beadle. Ronnie, your quilt was made by Alice Crocker. Do you know Alice? She named your quilt, sir, Field of Stars.
Ask me to say a few words is impossible. Anybody see this? Anybody who knows me, I don't say a few words. But as I receive this today, all I can think of is back in late 1961 when I was stationed in the military in Japan. And I think a lot of us here remember the Bay of Pigs. JFK made his speech. It's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country. I was in Japan, scheduled to be discharged. JFK made that speech. You're extended. Since I wasn't that good of a swimmer, and I wasn't in the Navy, that Pacific didn't look like I wanted to tackle it, I stayed. I didn't have anything good to say about JFK or the military or anything. I wanted to get home. I see today and see the direction that I feel the country is going in. I'm glad that I stayed, and it makes me twice as proud to be a person that served in the military. And all I can say is, God bless America.
Willie Campbell. Willie, what was your brother's name? What? What was your brother's name? I called James Campbell to let him know that he'd be receiving a quilt of Valor. His wife said that James passed away earlier this year. She said, can this quilt be awarded to his brother? I said, well, we don't award a quilt to another family member. She said, well, he was in the Army. I said, let's award it to Willie. I'll let him receive it in honor of his brother who never made it. Willie, your quilt was made by Pat Nadeau. Pat's going to come up and wrap that around you. And it's called Eagle's Fly. Henry Hollis. Now, William and Blaine, we wait until I get to you guys. Henry, your quilt was made by Janice Miller.
Thank you, baby. And here's another. This is one of your 2 great-grandchildren, great-son, great-grandson.
Fantastic. And Henry, the name of your quilt was Freedom Waves.
I just want to thank everyone with this honor, and God bless you.
Well, what's the name on this next quilt, the name of the quilt? Forgotten Country. William Morales, front and center. Well, that you understand, don't you? Am I doing okay up this stage? Oh, turn around. Turn around. Now you can see your quilt. Your quilt was made by Sharon Ford, and Sharon's husband was a retired lifer Marine. Oh, Stars and Stripes, okay.
Oh.
You like that? And you served in Iraq?
I'd like to thank everybody involved. It's a great honor to be here today. I can't even say it.
Well, William, just give your quilt a big hug.
All right. There's a couple things I want to say. Like I said, I was in the Marine Corps first. Also had the distinction to also have been in the Army. Served 4 years in the Marine Corps, 3 years in the Army. Spent a total of 2.5 years in Iraq. Also like to say that I have currently 2 brothers that are deployed. One is in Iraq, and one that's in Korea. And just like to keep them in your prayers. And like I said, thank you for having me here today, and thank you for this.
Are you ready? Run the center, sir. Wayne, your quilt was made by Pat Nadeau. The title that she gave it was Forgotten Country. look for a lady that does these horses. She's the one that nominated you for this program. Where is she? Is she out there? There she is. Look way back there, Blaine. That's the lady you nominated as fine young man.
Ladies that make these quilts, this is huge. It's really something, especially now the better. You know, people think that you don't think about them. Really, y'all guys do it. I really thank you for what y'all do. Thank you very much.
When I first heard about Quilts of Valor and these ladies going out and buying all this expensive material and cutting it up into little pieces, I thought, what a terrible shame. But then when they put it back together, it's a work of art. So this work of art, when you get them home, you can wash them. We want you to wash them. We want you to use them. We don't want you to just put it away in a closet. This is a using award. We want you to be reminded every day that somebody, a total stranger, loves you so much to take time to make it for you. But when you do wash it, use sharp color catcher in cold water. There's no guarantee that they won't bleed a little bit, but they are handmade. They are made with multiple pieces of material. And so as it does bleed a little bit, it's still yours. Okay, the next one, Robert McDowell, World War II. Mr. McDowell, your quilt was made by Valor Quilts. And the name of it is Love My Country.
I got you, man.
Very enjoy. Yeah, very good.
I'm my bed then.
Oh.
I'm not much talking on the speaker here, but I want to thank everybody that had anything to do with it. Dr. Revolution, I know something about making quilts. So my mother used to make quilts. We used some of the neighbors to help her. If they warm on each side, they take it. Oh, I mean, I want to thank anybody that had anything to do with it. And these cadets back here, I think that gentleman up there been directing traffic all month. All right. Thank you very much. I enjoyed my time in the day, and I
And before we get too much further, I'd like to say thank you to my son, Bruce, the photographer, my daughter, Christy, in the back. Thank you for your help. And my son-in-law, Jordan, over here. Thank you for everything you've done.
Harvey?
Yes. Oh. No. Now you do. Now you do. Stand up. Now you do. Stand up. Thank you, Bruce. Lynn, what's the name of this book coming up? Old Glory for Harry Gibson. And guess who made your quote, Harry? Alice Crocker. I said earlier in the introductions that he would ride his bicycle for 15 or 20 miles to visit with one of his church members. Very nice.
maybe.
Don't feel very heroic. But there's plenty of heroes here. Plenty. Thank you.
also.
Flying for freedom.
Like
Flying for freedom.
Gary West, your quote is named Flying for Freedom, and it also was made by Alice Crocker. And Alice said, any friend of Harry's is a friend of mine, and I want him to have a life of us.
Thank you.
Well, I know I need to thank Harry for getting me involved here in Harvey's. Bringing me in, and certainly the Quilters. I really appreciate it, and we love being here. I guess that's it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
John Barrett, your quote was made by Matt Nadeau, and the title that she gave your quote was Stars for Freedom.
Just thank you.
Jerome Gunderson Sr. Your quote was made by Sharon Ford. It's called Field of Stars.
Thank you, everybody involved. I appreciate it, especially the people involved, the Quilts of Valor. Thank you very much.
Grady Hope. Your quote was made by Alice Crocker. It's called Stars and Stripes.
I just praise the Lord that I could serve our country, the nation, the Coast Guard. I thank my family for their sacrifices, and I thank that for Jesus Christ, who saved my soul, and only through Him do we all of you. Lord, man, that's Jesus Christ, you all Lord and Savior.
Hey girls, I think you need to put some tie strings on these quotes. Mr. Smith, your quote was made by Deb Sheets, and she has one single word on it: honor. Deb, did you hear what people said over here? Wow. Now this is your first quote, is that right, Deb? Deb, is this your first quote? Deb, is this your first quote?
Yes.
Didn't you do a great
Beautiful,
job?
nice job, nice job.
Terry Kennedy. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like to accept this on behalf of my two older brothers in the Navy and one older brother in the Marines. Thank you.
Terry Kennedy. Terry, your quote was also made by Margaret Fralix as she honors her husband, called Circles of Freedom. A lot of times we don't know who the recipient is, so we try to judge by the branch of service that they served in, maybe a little bit by the name, and just by the feeling that has been brought down to us from above as to how we select the quotes. We hope that you can better enjoy the quote that was selected again.
I thank all you people. As I said earlier, I came from Ireland, and probably the best thing I ever had to do was arrive in America. Then I joined the Navy, and that was even better. I would have joined the Irish Navy. They only got a rowboat, so that didn't. Thank you, people. Appreciate it.
Ralph Roberts from World War II. Now, Ralph, your quote was made by Rita D. Reed of Columbus, Ohio. Rita's husband and I have been friends since 1961. Rita is an award-winning quilter nationwide, and it's going to be presented by Deb Sheets. And Deb is a friend of Rita's, and she's presenting it on her behalf. And it is called Colors of Freedom.
Yeah.
Thank y'all, everybody on behalf of Daddy, and he's accepted this quilt in memory of his brother-in-law, James Ayers, who was killed in World War II.
Now, I know it is extremely difficult for some of you veterans when you receive your quote, and the bit of tears that you may have shown outwardly, we know that you also have tears inward. And we hope that these quotes bring you some sort of relief, that every time that you wrap a quote around you, you know that somebody has said thank you for your quote. Somebody has thought about you. Because of what you have done over the years is why we can do what we do today. Bob Garrison? Bob, your quote was made by Janice Miller. Do you know Janice Miller? Yes, you do, don't you? The name of your quote is Scenes of Freedom.
I'm proud to have served in the Air Force at the end of the Korean War and to have been able to take advantage of this opportunity today. And I want to offer my appreciation to Quilts of Valor and all the persons involved in it. Thank you.
Okay, we're getting down to the fine end, and when we finish, I have a certain order of excusing the folks out of the sanctuary. Please follow the order of excusing, as there is a rhyme and a reason for it. It's you will get out of here expeditiously, also, so we can have the proper people in position to welcome the families back in the fellowship hall, and for the various to have individual pictures, if you want them. Last quote for the day is Wayne Murray. Wayne, your quote was made by Sharon Ford of Patriot's Pride.
Just real quick, thanks everybody, also accepting this on behalf also of the late Lynn Farrington with the U.S. Navy as well.
And Wayne, before you go, I'd like for the community to know this also. At Easter, Wayne rounds up a group of folks in the Rockville area, and they walk about 3 to 3.5 miles, and Wayne carries a cross from Cherry Park to this church in honor of what happened 2,000 years ago. Not only does he serve mankind, but he serves all the way back to our Christian beliefs and to throwing that forward in our community. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you for serving and keeping us safe. Ladies, if you'll step off the side for just a moment, I will bring you back up in a little bit. Did anybody back there have anything that you wanted to contribute? I know we've been standing here with our backs to you all the time, so you've had a front row seat. Yeah. Okay. Am I done? She's my guardian and watch keeper. My wife for 53 years, Lynn Mayhill. Thank you. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, I believe we have one more bit of business to take care of before we close the presentation. May I proceed?
I don't see your name on the program.
Most often, when a quilter starts work on a new quilt of Valor, she has, or he has no idea who the recipient will be. Because of this, we've been instructed to refrain from using fabric specific to one specific branch of the military. We couldn't award a quilt with Air Force symbols to an Army or Navy veteran or to a Marine. We're also instructed to make our quilts with no religious wording or symbols. Every veteran has a right to his or her own beliefs, and those beliefs might differ greatly from the quilter's. Occasionally, however, the quilter knows the veteran who will receive her quilt, and she can customize or personalize that quilt as she sees fit. Today, we have one additional quilt to award that has been personalized for the recipient. He has spent many years first serving the spiritual needs of our veterans, and as of late, tending the spiritual needs of our congregation, this church. Pastor Steve, please come forward and receive your quilt of honor.
Steve, I normally ask you if you had anything to say, but you've already said it. So I'm going to say something for you. You blessed all the quilts except for this one. And so, as one of your lay servant ministers here, I would like to take the time to say, God, thank you for sending us this fine gentleman, this captain from the Air Force, sending us a friend who recognizes our police officers, our firemen, our first responders, our veterans in harm's way. And we ask that this quilt, although you have brought comfort to a lot of people in your military career and in your pastoral career, we hope that this quilt brings a little bit of relief to you in whatever burdens you may carry for those of us who can't carry our own burdens. And we know that you have carried burdens. So with that, may God bless you, may God bless this quilt, may God bless the United States of America. Your daughter and son didn't just happen by. Your wife and them have known about this for 6 weeks.
Oh. Thank you.
Again, please hold your seats until we go through the dismissal. Bring to you again the patriotic ladies of Rock Hill. 2 of the 3, the third one again had a previous commitment, she could not get out of it. But 100 years ago, Irving Berlin wrote a song for a play, and he was in the Army at the time. He didn't feel that the song fit the play very well, so he put it in his desk and sat there for 20 years. Kate Smith, who was a very popular singer at that time, and that was before my time, but for World War II veterans probably know them. She wanted to do something for the United States of America in song. You know, we were coming out of the Depression. We were just on the brink of World War II. And Irving Berlin says, I think I had just the song for you. And I actually wrote it as a prayer. Well, let me change a couple of words around. He presented it to her. He gave it to her. She says, I cannot accept it. I must pay you. He says, I cannot accept payment. It is a gift. So they decided then that they would give their royalties to the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts of America. And today we're honored to have Annette singing God Bless America. And Christine not only will do it in sign language, but she will do it in a flowing, singing sign language. So ladies and gentlemen, enjoy God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Congratulations. You may go to the fellowship hall, be ready to pose for pictures. Thank you very much. All of your quilters are up. DAR and Marine Corps cadets, you are excused. Be ready to greet the veterans as they come out. Thank you very much for your service today. Sergeant Sprague, thank you, sir. And I'm Marine, those who did go, but I salute you anytime. Thank you. These two on the end, go first. And that, on that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. World War II veterans are going up first. Yes, sir. Linda, bring John. Thank you, I appreciate it very much.
Now go home, go to bed, and do your job.
Captain Steve Holler, front and center.
You don't need to hold it.
Captain, would you please take charge of these heroes and lead them to the fellowship hall? And remember, you have one that is a retired bird colonel. Hurry up. Vet 6. As soon as they break the doorway, you can go that direction and out. Thank you for your service for the fights today. Vet 6, you can take those fights into the fellowship hall. Find a place to put them in there, over the corner. To keep from congestion of everybody coming out, I'm going to start excusing the rows from the back. Linda, are you coming in, please? You're great patriots. Thank you very, very much for attending today. And for those who have been watching on YouTube live from Rock Hill, South Carolina, Aldersgate United Methodist Church, we have honored 25 veterans today. 3 of those were World War II veterans. Some of them were receiving their Quilts of Valor in honor of somebody who never came home. So as we close today's program, we wish you well. God bless America. God bless you. And keep us all free.